Hello. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Whoa. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So sorry.
Hello.
I could not. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't load it. Wouldn't work. So I had to re-download Zoom for some reason.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, sounds
sorry.
good.
Okay, well that's good. I don't know what happened. We were this afternoon we're going to do a website review with a webinar in the Private Practice Builders group. So I wonder if it was because we had added a webinar feature or something to our account. I don't know. Anyway, we're here now. Sorry about that. Hi, Gracie.
Hey, it's good to see you. And is
Yeah,
that Diana?
Hi. Yeah. Hi, Gracie. It's Diana.
I see. I recognize
Hi,
your
everyone.
phone number, girl. Hi.
Really?
Oh, well,
Phone
yeah.
numbers- yeah, your phone number's famous.
Whoa.
I have a quite the visual memory, and because we're in another group together, and I know area codes. I know TMI. Anyway, I thought that was you.
Awesome.
Don't worry, I'm not stalking you.
That's cool.
And Amanda, you're there, I'm assuming.
Yep, I'm here. I signed in through your account because I wasn't sure if that was the issue of it not starting.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. All right. So I know that Gracie had some questions already that were submitted, which Amanda sent to me, and hopefully I can find.
Or I can ask him since I'm here.
Yeah, I got them too.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you had to prioritize where to blog, would your own site come first? And then how about Psych Today and goodtherapy.org? Okay, so some of that's going to depend, Gracie, on how much you have on your site to start with. Do you already have blogs on your site or not?
Yeah, I've got a blog for each of my specialty pages, and each of them has less than 10 posts, but around that many.
Okay, so each one of your specialties has somewhere around 10 blog posts already?
Yeah, up to 10.
Okay. Okay.
Some of them it's more like
then,
3, some of them are like 8.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it needs to be better populated, but
yeah, but that's pretty good considering most people.
I don't want to be spread too thin.
Right. So having 8 to 10 for each specialty is a pretty good start on your site. So if you have that baseline established already, then if you feel like branching out to, go to where other people are, other watering holes, if you will, by blogging on Psych Today and goodtherapy.org or whatever, then that's great. You don't want to stop growing your site altogether, obviously, right?
No.
You want to, yeah. So what I would do is, give that a whirl. Have you tried to get into Psych Today before?
No, I'm just kind of thinking ahead. I mean, there are various. Psych Today is someplace I would think would be a good place to get into. There have been other places that have asked me to write. I'm like I said, hesitant to spread myself too thin. And if I write, I really want it to be worth reading and well, if that makes sense. I want to use my time well. It's excruciating for me to write, so I want to do it right.
I hear you on that. Yeah, I have that same problem. So, yeah, I would, I don't know what is involved in getting accepted to Psychology Today, but you could give it a whirl. I think that, if I were to spend my time writing, I would rather write on Psych Today than goodtherapy.org, because their backlinks to you are going to be much stronger.
Okay, that's good for me to hear.
Yeah. So I would give that a try first. I mean, goodtherapy.org isn't going to be bad. You should also check to make sure that however they do it, do they give you do follow backlinks as opposed to no follow backlinks?
Can you explain what a follow backlink is, please?
Yeah. So there's whenever you post on someone else's site and there's a link that goes to your site, that link is one of two types. It's either a do follow link or a no follow link. One of those two.
Or
and
no.
If it's a do follow link, then that passes what is called link juice to your site and helps you rank. It gives you more authority.
Okay.
And if it's a no follow link, it doesn't pass any link juice. People can still click on it and go to your site, but there's no link juice passed, no authority passed. So I imagine when you reach out to Psychology Today to ask them about writing, they're going to probably send you to some kind of informational page or something, and it will probably say in there whether their links are do follow or no follow. And if it doesn't say that, then just simply ask them.
Okay.
They'll know exactly what that is. Okay.
This just triggered another question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of a tangent. So I ignored it, but this is about links. So I had a weird email the other day from an addiction. It's like a robo email, but basically it was saying, wouldn't you like to put a link to our organization on your information and resource page, which of course I wouldn't. I have an information and resource page on my website that I've pretty carefully curated. That's important to me that what's on it is good and credible. And so this is going to sound stupid because I don't understand how all this works. Does anyone have the ability to try and link to my site without my allowing it? Should I be worried about that robo email? I can dig it up and read it to you if you want.
No, they're asking you to link out to their site from
Right,
your resources page. So they can't go into your site and add that link. You as the person who has access to your site you're the only one who can go in and add a link within your own site to link out. They could link to you from their site, but that would only typically be a good thing, because again, if they link to you from their site, they are sending link juice to you.
Okay. And even if there's someone I don't want to be associated with, as long as they're not something disreputable, that's not a big deal.
Yeah. And even if they do link to you, usually, unless it's a really terrible, terrible thing, it's not going to hurt you at all.
No, it's not a terrible thing. It's just not something I would choose.
Yeah. But, the internet was made on links, right? So I can link to New York Times article. I could link anywhere I want, and New York Times doesn't have anything to say about it. Pretty much it's public space. Anyone can link to anyone. Yeah. So that's how that works. Should I go to your next question in here?
Please.
Okay. I thought having people subscribe to my blog from Squarespace using MailChimp would be easier. More than one person has signed up but didn't confirm their subscription. How common is that? That is actually fairly common with what we call double opt-in methods, which MailChimp will require you to use. The double opt-in is where somebody signs up and then they get a confirmation email and they need to say, yes, I confirm that I'm opting into this list. So that is fairly common. It's a bummer that it happens, but it is fairly common. The workaround to that is to use a different kind of a service that doesn't require a double opt-in. However, there aren't very many of those, and it's pretty expensive. Like Amanda, Infusionsoft doesn't require it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so we have Infusionsoft. It doesn't require a double opt-in, but it also, cost us like $3,000 up front and $395 a month. So you probably don't care about that.
For me.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they explained it is that it's, permission marketing, and that makes sense to me ethically. I just wanted to know how common it was. It's a little frustrating, but I'm not going to go after people that didn't opt in. I just kind of periodically, and people do sign up. It's not like I'm not developing a list, but I was just wondering.
Yeah, it's pretty common. Yeah, and the one way to the only thing that you can really do on that is to try to make sure that your opt-in lure, if you have like a free report or something that they're opting in for. Is that what they're opting in for?
Not yet. But
okay, so right now it says sign my newsletter. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a sign up to get new blog posts.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
There will be more, but that's so far.
Yeah. So that's really typical with that. If you have some kind of an email lure, then you're gonna have more success with that, because they're gonna see that free report there or quiz or whatever it is that you're adding to your site, and they're going to be like, I really want that. And so they opt into it, they get the email, they confirm it. Okay. Because they're after that thing. Yeah. So you'll have more luck when you get to that point. Okay. I think that's all your questions that Amanda had passed on. Is that all that you had?
I have one more if there's time. I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't have that many people on, so we'll do one more from you, and then we'll go to the other folks.
So, Google is doing some new things, and it's a similar question. Maybe you're familiar with. So this week I signed on for Google Texts. Nobody's texted me yet, although somebody did text me from my map, my Google My Business listing. They're pushing posting to your Google My Business page. It's a similar question. There's only so many hours in the day. Is that worth it, or do I just do what we've been talking about?
Well,
I'm feeling pretty thin.
Yeah, typically what you can do with any of the social media, and I throw Google Plus into a social media category, you can post blog posts that you already have.
Oh, so that's not going to hurt anything?
No, that should not hurt anything. Same thing with Facebook and same thing with Twitter. So one of the methods of getting your stuff out there is to go ahead and post it on social media. And you can do that with the Google My Business stuff.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, now if I know that this is kind of Google has been, over the last 5 years, they've probably changed the name of that platform 5 times. Okay,
Yeah,
it was
have.
Google Plus, it was Google Local, it was blah, blah, who knows all the names that it's been. So they seem to be trying to revive it. It was kind of like a hot potato within Google for a long time. Nobody seemed to want to hold it in any of the divisions, so they kept shutting it down. But now they seem to be wanting to put more energy into it again. Hopefully they won't back off that, because we're all sick of trying to follow them around with all their changes. But if I find out, I haven't dug into the new stuff that they're doing now with the text and pushing it and all that. If I find anything in there that leads me to believe that you can't post existing content, I will let you know. But my understanding is it's similar to Facebook. You should post, if you put your link out there, it'll pull in some kind of a little part of it, and then you link, people would click on that and link to your site anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I was just afraid it would hurt my search results by being duplicate content. But if it isn't, that's
No.
great.
And I've also heard that they seem to, right now, they're ranking people for 2 to 3 days or something, like some limited time period. You get a big ranking boost for that post when you do it, and then it disappears, which is normal. So,
Okay.
yeah.
It's not
Go
news.
for it and let us know how it goes if you do that.
I will.
Haven't got to that new stuff yet.
Yeah, it's just separating the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, exactly. I know. You could spend your whole life doing this stuff. Yeah. The other thing that, let me tell you guys one other thing. We're doing some work internally with our own Counseling Wise site to repurpose content right now. We just started this project yesterday or day before yesterday. I don't remember when. Anyway, so what we're doing is looking at old blog posts we have, and we are doing some things to like get them in PDF formats and get them out on various things. Also change the title of them and get them out on Medium and on LinkedIn articles. So we're going to do 10 to start with, and we're tracking our any changes to our traffic or anything, and so we will report back to you guys on that.
Great.
It's definitely some work to make it happen, but we're hoping to see an uptick in traffic to us, and so what we'll do is report back to you guys, and if in fact it all works, we'll come back and do a training on that and let you know what happened for us and how we went about doing it. Okay?
Excellent. I love to hear
things
like what you just said.
Yeah. So this is the world of being online and continually testing new things, and that's part of it. And so hopefully we've given you guys tons of stuff to do. Hopefully we're at least a couple of paces ahead of you testing out new things, and we'll bring that in as we get results. Okay?
No, I really appreciate that about what you're doing. I can't even begin to keep up. And,
yeah. We have a team of people. So, I mean, luckily a lot of everyone here does the work, and I get to kind of go off and discover new things now. We're finally to that point where I don't do any of the work. I just find out what's next. So that's the good news. Okay, so Diane, let's see, someone else joined 903. Who's that?
Hi, Becky. This is Deborah Brown Gordy, and
Hey,
I do
Deborah.
have questions. Still have time at the end. Great.
Yeah, we'll have time. Let me go to Diana, since she's been here for a while, and see what questions she has, and then we'll get to you, Deborah. Okay, so Diana, what questions do you have today?
Some follow-up questions from your conversation with Gracie that was answered a lot of the questions I already had, which is great. I'm ready to publish my first blog, just working with Squarespace on kind of some technical things about, getting it on there and doing the sidebars and all that. And I guess my main question at this point is, what do I need to be thinking next in terms of how to get it out there and getting people to see it more? Do I just put my head down and just write the next blog, or do I need to be doing like what Gracie was saying, do a mail opt-in, maybe try to get my business Facebook page up so that I can push it somewhere, because I don't know if I'm supposed to push it to my personal Facebook. Just sort of thinking how do I get it out there once I start going on this?
Yeah. Okay. So what I would recommend is that you do get a business Facebook page up, and that you do push blogs out to your business Facebook page. Okay. Now, there's a bunch of things you can do, right? You can put it out on LinkedIn, you can put it out on Twitter, you can establish accounts in all these places and do all that. What I don't want you to do, which is what Gracie already knows for herself, is don't spread yourself too thin, because you could easily get discouraged and go, oh my God, this is crazy. Okay. So what I would do if I were you is, if you feel that you really want to do something to get it out there sooner than later, establish a Facebook business page and have that be the one place that you post your blogs for now. And when I say for now, what I really want you to focus on is writing more blogs and getting those up on your site and getting that momentum going and growing your site.
Right.
Okay? Because
Right.
that's what's going to
Okay.
make a difference between ranking and not ranking. Okay? Is the more content that you have on that site.
Okay.
Make sure also, I'm gonna share the screen because I think I'm realizing that some people aren't doing this, aren't getting this part. I'm probably got a hole somewhere in my teaching. So I want to show you guys this to make sure. Now, can you see? I think
I'm on the phone, but I'll see the replay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's right.
That's okay.
Gracie, you're muted, but can you see does this thing just show as one little thing on my screen and not?
Yeah, it just shows up as a little screen.
Okay. Let me do this. Okay, I think maybe I just went too fast. Me go fast? No.
Okay.
I'm gonna hope that it gives me, no, it's not giving me the choice of sharing.
I see a desktop with April Lyon's website on it.
Yeah, let me actually
And
make
then I
this.
apologize. I'm going to be gone soon.
Okay. So hopefully you see it a little larger now. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay. So what I want to show you is this is something called a silo structure. And I used to never use the word because I thought it would have scare people away. But I'm going to use it because it's verifiable as something to do in the SEO world. So I'm going to start using the term. Okay. So April has an eating disorder treatment page here, right? And if I go to that page, you can see her message. Here it is, this big long message. And then what I want you to know is, as we've discussed, the blog posts are in the sidebar for eating disorder treatment, right? The relevant blog posts are in the sidebar. But the other thing to do is, if I click on one of these blog posts, I can go and I can read the post, okay? But at the bottom, she says, to find out more about my services, click here, eating disorder treatment. So each blog post links back to the specialty page.
Great.
Okay. Now, what that does is that creates this loop, right? Where there's this whole set of content that is all linked together. So the eating disorder treatment page links out to each one of those relevant blog posts, and each one of those posts link back to this page. And Google sees all that content combined together, and they say, wow, this is an amazing amount of information on eating disorders and eating disorder treatment. Therefore, we're going to value that highly, and we're going to rank you high. Okay? So this is part of the ranking algorithm. It's called the silo structure. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that, realize that, and I think sometimes it gets lost somewhere in our training, but it's an important point. So remember to do that with your blog post. Link back to the relevant specialty page. Okay?
That's really helpful. I had a question kind of similar to that answers. I was going to ask whether on a blog post, should there be a call to action of sorts, the way that we have learned to do, and that kind of answers that question. It should link back to read more, to find out more, or to have maybe my tagline down at the bottom or something that, with my name and my practice or something like that. So that does answer that question. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. And she does say whatever. She has a call to action, but she also links it back. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had a question on a slightly different topic. My favorite topic these days, Google Analytics.
Oh, lovely Google Analytics.
Yeah. So my question is, you know, when I'm working on my website, Google notices my tracks, right? When I look at my, do they or do they not?
Not really. No, when you're working on it,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you publish a new page, they should crawl that and index it. But
Okay.
analytics is only about tracking traffic.
Okay.
Okay. There's another part of Google that Google Search Console recognizes new pages and indexes them. But if that
Okay.
new page doesn't get any traffic, analytics won't reflect it.
Okay. So I should not be concerned that Google Analytics is noticing that I myself have spent 15 minutes on my webpage. And
No.
if they, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. And in fact, there is a way actually to block your own IP address as a trackable entity on your site, so that traffic that is, when you're spending time on your site, that it doesn't report to you that you visit.
Okay.
You know, if you, like for instance with us, counseling wise, when we're developing our own site or when we're making big changes, we try to go in and say, don't track the IP address of our office, because we don't want to falsely increase our numbers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there is a way to do that.
I looked into that and my eyes rolled in the back of my head when I was trying to look at. So
yeah,
and plus I have a dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
I reached the edge.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have a dynamic IP address, so it changes and the instructions. I mean, I'm not technically completely bereft, but some of the help files in the Google website are kind of at the edge of my patience and understanding and ability to conceptualize. So I may just forget all about it.
It's not a big deal. You know, while you're really working on your site, yeah, you're going to go there, you're going to do stuff. So what? But over time, once you get it more stable and it starts increasing in traffic, even if you were to go there once a day, it's a very small percentage of the total traffic that's going to go there. So it's not really going to skew your numbers. For us, we do more because we have a whole team that's going in there. And
gotcha.
Yeah. But you know, it's not
Yay.
That big deal. Yeah.
Yay. That made my whole weekend.
Oh, good. Good. Don't have to worry about that. Check. Good deal.
Yeah, check. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, Diana?
I can't think of anything right now. It's mostly all about the blogging. So I just need to get writing and get my first one up there and focus on that for a while.
Yeah. Good deal. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys, I just love the fact that your sites are set up correctly and that you guys have the right start. I cannot tell you how many people I talk to who are like, I talked to someone this morning. She's like, oh, you said that I need to have a specialty page. My SEO person told me I already have a specialty page. I already have specialty pages for individual and couples. So I think I'm ready to go. And you go look at her site and it's a little paragraph that's maybe not even 100 words with individual and couples together. And she thinks she's done and optimized, you know? And that all she needs to do now is blog and miracles are going to happen. So I'm so glad that you guys have it done correctly. You're starting in the right place. And so the right things should happen from here. It's just such a good feeling for me to know that you guys know what you're doing now. So awesome.
Yeah. And if you remember, I started many months ago, started with Squarespace and I really struggled with it. It was not intuitive for me. Mm-hmm. And then I switched to therapy sites and everything was like prefabricated. And I thought, well, that's great. And then nothing happened there. And I went back and I just started spending time just learning.
Yeah.
And accessing the help that Squarespace provides and just hanging out with Private Practice University. You know, I know a lot more now, but
Yes.
I made some mistakes, definitely.
Sure. We all do. We all start there. But boy, you guys are in such a better place than the average bear. So I'm so happy about that.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. So you done then, Diana? No other questions for now?
Yeah, I have to transition now to drive somewhere, but I'm going to be listening in and may pop in a little bit before, later on in the call.
Okay, great. Okay, Deborah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Deborah. Question.
Okay, great. And I so appreciate these questions so far because they've been really enlightening for some of my general questions and areas as well. And just kind of what you just said, Becky, I feel like, okay, I've completed now phase one. I've completed phase one.
Yeah.
And I know there's more to do. And I know this last 20% is kind of the part that really oops it up and makes it all come together and work. But it's such a great feeling to have completed phase one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And have the right foundation. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah.
Right foundation, right.
Yeah.
So my questions are kind of going from here. I did implement most of the editing from my Counseling Wise editor, who edited my one specialty page that I really think is going to be my main emphasis, at least at this time. He suggested something with SEO I had never heard you talk about, so I wanted to ask you about it in general and see if you think in my situation it's worth doing. She basically said SEO terms about every 100 words and recommended that I go in and it sounded to me like basically do a word count to make sure I've got them sprinkled at about that ratio throughout the whole page. I know I've used SEO terms throughout the page because there's enough of them that I know that I have. And as I said, I've never heard you say that specifically before, and I want to know how much you agree with that idea, and then is it worth it in my case to do? Because I'm really ready to be done with the specialty page phase. So that's my first question.
Okay, so that is most likely in the specialty page blueprint that we put in the tools and resources area.
Really? Because I've read that. I printed it off and I refer to it when I, have written my specialty pages. So
Let me actually see. I'm pulling it up right now. And that's a general rule of thumb. Pretty much what we say is, let's see if we tell you to use the primary X number of times and the secondaries, a certain number of times. And so it probably just evens out to be about 1 out of every 100 words. You're not using every term that many times, if that helps.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just kind of that we designed it when we tell you how many times to use the keyword. We've pretty much designed it so that it ends up being that. So it's just another way of saying the same thing. Because we tell you, use the focus keyword 2 times, include the secondary 1 to 3 times, yada, yada, yada. And so it ends up being about that 1 out of 100. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I kind of concluded that, because I went in very intentionally at the end of my writing process and specifically put the keywords in and intentionally put them throughout the page, I'm concluding that I'm good. I'm good with the keywords.
Yeah, I think that's a good conclusion. If you followed this, you should be good with the keywords.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, questions about blogs.
Mhm.
Yeah, we could do that.
Two,
Mm,
two
just a
things.
minute. I think there's some noise somewhere. Let me mute. I think maybe it was Amanda. Okay. Keep going. Sorry.
Okay. My blog is not the kind of blog that you taught, in
Right.
terms of writing content that's about questions that my ideal clients might have around the topics that I specialize in. My blog is an inspirational blog. My blog is channeled messages. My blog is, different. So, and I kind of like it that way, but I get the idea and I get it. I watched again your blogging webinar series this past week and was so glad that I did review it because I learned some things that I had forgotten and even not taken down in my notes from when you did it earlier this year.
Mhm.
So the question that I'm mulling over in my mind is, do I start a different blog? Do I have different topics in my same blog that are just these? My original intention with the inspiration and the messages from Divine Mother, or do I start a separate blog, or do we just have different topics that are along these topics of the kinds of things that my ideal clients have questions about?
I would just have two categories in your blog, and one would be the what you're doing now, and then the other one would be something like um, you know marriage challenges or couples challenges or whatever would make sense from a category viewpoint. You could maybe add two other ones, which are something about the relationship challenges, and then another one that's really more about living authentically or living the life you want or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so I'm hearing you say just switch the concept in my mind, so I have different categories, and one of the categories are these inspirational Divine Mother messages,
Mm-hmm.
but then the other categories are related to my specialties.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they all can be under the same heading of the same blog, the same title, which I think
Oh, yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it,
And then also, like, for instance, you have a Transform Your Life page. So in the sidebar for that, if you can, I know you have a bunch of testimonials there, but it's a long page. You do seem to have some room. If you can have the blogs that relate to the Transform Your Life type topic underneath the testimonials on this page so that you have the silo structure intact.
yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can, totally doable. I can do that.
Yeah.
Now, would you put them below the testimonials or above the testimonials?
Well, I think, it's really a marketing page, so marketing material should be above. So I would put it below. And if they continue to read, they're going to see those blogs down there. Okay. The other thing that you could do is you could shorten the testimonials and have them like Lisa's story. You could have maybe the first paragraph and then say, see more. And you have the whole thing on a testimonials page. Does that make sense?
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, for each one of those. For Lisa, I'm on the Transform Your Life one right now or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, Helene, and Yvonne.
Yvonne. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you could have like the first paragraph and then it says see more. And they click that and that goes to a whole new page, which is testimonials. And so all of them are listed there so they could read the testimonials. That way you would have more room here for the blogs to show higher on the page.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then would you put testimonials in the navigation bar?
Mm-hmm.
Or?
Yeah, if you have room. Looks like it's a little tight though.
It is.
Yeah. You could have it under About. A lot of people put their testimonials as a drop down under their About page. Or you could also have testimonials regarding the Transform Your Life type offering as a drop down under that, and the other, testimonials regarding Transform Your Marriage under that. Those are probably the options that I would go for. Either the About or under the relevant headings.
Under the relevant specialty page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can do that. Then the whole blog, like I posted, when Amanda was asking, so what do you want to learn about? What kind of things do you want people to have interviewed? And I posted my ideas, what I would like to learn. I'm really, and I know this is kind of forward thinking, so this is forward framing. The big picture of where I'm going with this marketing thing, where I felt that my website was an impediment, and it held me back for so long, and so now I'm finally getting it to a point where it can be an asset and work for me again, like it did several years ago, back before it got so complex and sophisticated, or the standard did. So you get the website where it needs to be with your specialty pages, and then your blog posts, and you're adding to your content, and you're setting up the silo structure, and you're putting your blog posts out there in social media and wherever else you're doing. Is there a plan somewhere in the PPU resources that kind of says, here's a simple blogging plan, a recipe, blog this many times per month and then promote your blog posts some way?
Let's see. That's a good question. There's not the answer to that is a very simple answer, which is blog as much as you can and don't stop. Okay. Unfortunately, right? That's the answer. So I can't give anybody here's how many times you need to do it for your specialties and I'm trying to actually log out so I can go back into PPU. It looks like we don't have that thing fixed again or yet, that logging in issue. But anyway, what I wanted to see is what we have out there regarding blogging right now, because I think that that is a good question. I know that we have quite a bit out there. We talk about tags, we talk about keyword research for blogging, what you should blog about. But it's basically, I think in the foundational stuff, we talk about here's the overall plan, right? Just basically what you just said. Create your site, have specialty pages, blog, have the silo structure, all that good stuff. But there's no, let's say this, you probably couldn't blog enough, okay? So there's no high end on blogging. And the answer is do it as much as you can. And yes, promote it on social media. All right. So I can't give you a certain amount of time, a number of times per month or anything like that. It's just go.
But it's just simply that. It's just simply that. Write as much as you can. Link it to the specialty page in the circular structure, and promote it on social media. That's it.
That's it for that part. Yes. Now, one thing that we just talked about, I'm not sure, were you on when I talked about repurposing content?
You talked about how you're doing this kind of trial and going to be repurposing, and that kind of relates to another one of my questions. I have tons of articles because I've had a newsletter for 10 years. Right. And I haven't written consistently in a couple of years. There was a time when I was writing very consistently, and these are topics, these are articles on topics that are relevant in many cases to my specialties.
Mm-hmm.
Should I repurpose them as blog posts? Should I
Yes.
just
Yes.
title them? I mean,
Yeah. Where are they now? They're just
a lot of them are on my website. A lot of them are stored in my email people
Yeah.
with iContact.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are just on my computer.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. So anything that you have that is relevant and could go on your site, put it on your site as blog posts and categorize it appropriately. Okay. And that's going to be really, really helpful because it's going to be fresh content on your site. Your site's going to be growing. You're going to be strengthening those silos. And so there's only good that can come of that. All right. So that's what I would do. And anyone else who has anything that, you wrote a long time ago and you submitted it to some local newspaper or anything like that, if you have content that you've written that you could have be fresh content on your site here and it doesn't appear elsewhere online, that's the thing. You don't want to have already submitted it to Psychology Today or something and it's going to be sitting out there and then be duplicate content on your page. You don't want to do that. But if it can be fresh content on the web, do it. Get it up there as blog posts. And then, Deborah, where I'm going with this is that and this could actually be really interesting for you probably because you're more national, or international or whatever, similar to us. One of the reasons that we're doing this repurposing thing is because people are in different watering holes, if you will. So if they don't find our site in Google, searching on what they're searching on, maybe they hang out on LinkedIn. And if we have LinkedIn articles out there, maybe they find us that way. Maybe they're a Medium reader and they read medium.com. And so it could be out there. Maybe they, whatever. They search different ways and different search engines bring up different properties. So the more places that we can appear, the better. So that's what our philosophy is regarding this, and that's why we're doing it. And again, before we do it, before I teach it, I always want to test it out and work out the kinks because I don't want to send you guys off doing something without any data, without us having done it. And, already like we're supposedly, the recommendation is to change the titles on Medium and LinkedIn instead of using the exact same titles so that if they get indexed, it's different content, at least from a title viewpoint. So there's things we want to do to work out before we tell you guys, but I think that could be something that could really help you.
So take some of my articles, tweak them, change the titles, do whatever you figure out is the best way to do this, and post them in different mediums like LinkedIn, like other places. Might fit for my business.
Yes.
Okay, and I agree with that. In fact,
and there's one other thing that could work for you is if there's other groups that are, like a bunch of women that get together and they're hanging out in spiritual groups or whatever, if you can become part of that group, chat it up, become part of just the regular crew where you're helping each other out and you're talking about things and you need to build the relationships first, right? You can't just go into these groups and be new and start posting your own stuff because they'll get upset. But if you end up having a lot of good content on your site and you've established yourself as a helpful member, I guess that's the key thing, helpful member of a group, then when somebody's bringing up something like, hey, I really struggle with how to be myself in the workplace, I feel like something's missing, whatever. At that point, if you have established yourself as a helpful member, it's much easier then to say, I totally know what you mean. In fact, I have this blog post about that. Check it out. And often group owners are going to be fine with you doing that if you've come in and established yourself as a helpful member. If you're new, they're going to say, quit spamming our site, get out of here, or our group. But that is another way that you can get a bigger following.
Yeah. And that comes back to Diana or Gracie or somebody who said, there's only so many hours of the day. And it is not my goal to, be permanently attached to some sort of computer.
Right. Yeah, but you are going to have to do something, Deborah, because you're national. You're not, you're not going to rank easily because your terms are, it's just not this real narrow niche that you're going to get all this this SEO traffic. So you're going to have to do something. It's either going to be figuring out where to network or paying for traffic or something, right? It's one thing to have this, it's one thing to have this great thing built, but it's unfortunately the old build it and they'll come thing doesn't actually really work.
Okay. Well, I understand that. I accept that I'm going to have to be doing something beyond the website, to connecting with people and to be finding where my people hang out. And while it might not be narrow, I think it is specialized. And I think my people, because I've experienced this so far, my people, when they're my people, they love it. It's like, oh my God, where have you been? Where have you been?
Right.
Why did I not find you sooner? And so I get that.
Yeah, so you just need to find out where they hang out. And the key is, because you don't want to spend your life on the computer, the key, the reason I suggested having blogs out there and then becoming a member, a helpful member somewhere, and then sharing things is if you find the right group, you can reuse content instead of having to do something totally new to reach those people, right? And if the group is right, it's a group that you'd want to hang out in anyway, hopefully, right? Where people are having conversations about these topics that, light your fire. So,
no, I agree with that.
Yeah. So if you can find that kind of a situation, that's going to be a good natural thing to do that hopefully is in keeping with your mojo and all that, right? And then it ends up, it ends up being a good place to share some of your stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have one last question, if there's time.
Yeah, we got 3 minutes.
Okay. I'm going to take my 5-part article series that to this point has been my main, freemium on my site, and it's going to be specifically for my Transform Your Marriage specialty. I'm going to convert it to an ebook. I'm going to retitle it because I think part of what it needs is a fresh title. But the content, I wrote it, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I'll go back, I'll edit it, I'll freshen it up, I'll tighten it up. It'll be an updated version, but I won't have to be writing it from scratch. And I've got some good ideas on titles. I'll run them by the Facebook groups when I get to that point next week. I want to know if you have an ebook platform that you might recommend, rather than just basically writing it, putting it in a Word document, converting it to PDF.
Yes.
I think is the old way to do an ebook.
Yeah, there's a piece of software called Designer. Design RR. It's not ER at the end, it's RR.
Okay.
I don't know how much it costs. I think it's quite reasonable. And you can take, the cool thing about it, and it's something that we're going to use in our repurposing thing, the cool thing about it is that you can actually take blog posts and make them PDFs as well. Okay, so let's imagine, I'm going to just go to your site and give an example. Let's imagine that Test or Quest. You have a blog post out there called Test or Quest. And let's imagine that somebody is reading this and they're very touched by something in here and they feel like, oh my God, this is exactly me, and they want that, right? They were really touched by it. You could have something on this page that says, if you would like to download a PDF of this blog post to read later, click here and opt in. Okay? And so with this designer tool, you can actually take blog posts on your site and you can make them into PDFs very simply, and they look really nice.
And Designer has a way to do that. What you
Yeah.
just said, you know, want to make a download this to read later, click here and it'll do that.
Well, you're going to have to integrate it obviously with your autoresponder, but it
Right.
creates the PDF and the cover of the PDF so that it looks really nice.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it online so I can. Okay, it's at designer, so DESIGNRR.io. So it's all about creating beautiful lead magnets. And there's also a 14-day free trial. So you can try it out first and see if you like it. I will tell you that we have used it quite a few times, and sometimes it's a pain in the ass, okay? Pardon my French. So
Okay.
just expect that sometimes you're going to have to struggle with it and you're going to throw it against the wall, but it is, then you figure out, oh, okay, I have to do this bizarre little thing. Okay, got it. I hate you, designer, but overall, it's really good. Okay?
Okay. Just know that it's like a human being. Their days.
Yeah,
that you
just know.
really wonder.
Exactly. Okay, so I want to tell you that ahead of time because I don't want you to, we have had a couple of people in our shop use it and they're like, what the hell? But then they figure it out and we end up with this beautiful downloadable thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is if you use this and like at the bottom of a blog post, write this little article, this little note if you want a copy of this to read later, you've already created it. All they have to do is click the link and then they sign up essentially to go get it. Is that it?
Yeah. You have the picture of it sitting there and then they put in their name and email and they opt in and you send them the PDF. So it's the autoresponder part you still have to do, but the tool is all about creating a beautiful downloadable PDF out of your content. So it can work on blog posts and it can also work on anything else you put in it. So that 5-part series that you're going to create as one thing, you can also just cut and paste stuff into it instead of giving it a blog post URL, and it will create this PDF for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. This looks like this might be really cool platform to use.
And we'll listen for your cursing.
No. I can curse like a sailor. No.
That's refreshing.
Yeah, I am human.
It does make you stronger. Have you seen that?
No, what?
There's a study they just did on cursing, and they did a test where people lifting weights or something, and they could, as much as they could do, and then they had them say shit or whatever, and then they could lift like 40% more. That's what I keep telling myself to justify my bad mouth.
Okay, well, it's something that I'm trying to get rid of, but anyway. Okay, well, great.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
so we're at 11:03 now, so probably time to wrap it. I got to go to something else. But any other questions that people didn't get time to ask, go ahead and post in the Facebook group, and I'll check out there later today. And thanks for being on, you guys, you gals.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Hey,
Awesome call.
Okay.
Okay,
See
bye-bye.
you in the Facebook group.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank
Yeah, see you out
bye.
there.
Bye.